Jordan, hello, welcome. Good
Hello,
afternoon,
hello.
happy Friday. What's going on, man?
Indeed, it is a happy Friday when I have off on Friday.
Yeah, are you fully off today?
Oh yeah, 4 on,
Nice.
3 off, 3-day weekends.
Pretty good setup right there. Yeah, 3-day weekend's nice. 2 days is never
Yeah.
enough, seriously.
Oh no.
No, it's not. But thanks for coming on, man. I'm excited about this one. And hello and good afternoon, everyone inside of chat over here. Got a pretty decent sized crowd kicking off, and the usual suspects. Let me bring chat over here as well too. Karina's here. Hacking Lab's here today. Nice. Trisha. I think it's kind of stuck on the scroll though. It's not going down any further. But anyway, good to have everyone here inside of chat. We've got an exciting stream here today. We've got Jordan Westfall over here, a workshop instructor and author, building out some pretty cool content for everyone over here at ContinuumCon coming up on June 20th to 22nd. Threat Intel automation, Jordan. That's
Sounds cool, doesn't it?
yeah, it does actually. It sounds legit, like very professional. I've had some pre-banter chat with Jordan, everyone, by the way, and I'm excited to talk more about this because we're going to do some automation insights over here after we get to know Jordan. There's also the topic of vibe coding as well too, which is kind of hot right now. Everyone's curious and everyone's talking about this, right? There's a lot of discussion on both sides of the fence. So
yeah, there's a lot going on with it.
Oh yeah. But Jordan, I guess we can kind of kick things off over here. And if anyone in chat has questions, please go ahead and drop things as we go, make comments as we go. We'll kind of highlight them and throw them up on stream. We can always do that. But first things first, Jordan, before we get to your cool content, let's get to know you. We haven't actually had you on stream at all. You're very active in Discord. Definitely.
Yeah.
But you've got a lot of comments, a lot of feedback, and a lot of contribution. People know you for sure in Discord. But I guess tell us a little bit more about you, man. Your background, professional. Why cybersecurity? How did you even get here?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me again. This is a great opportunity. It's my first ever stream I've ever been on, so this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've been in tech for a little while. I started way back in Walmart helping people pick televisions and doing their cell phone plans, and then now 13 years later, I've been with the same government agency. I work for a local county police government. I do some sysadmin work. When they moved over from full paper reports to full digital reports, I was kind of handpicked because there's not many people there that know anything about computers. So I was just in one job. They're like, "Hey, do you want to do this other job?" And I'm like, "Yes." So I've been doing sysadmin for that software for a while. And then I wanted to change because, government itself is so slow. There's a lot of red tape, and trying to find more money is difficult. And so way back in late 22, you and I had a conversation about joining the boot camp, and ultimately I decided to attend, and it was awesome. Learned how to do some fun stuff, triaging and whatnot. And so I chose cybersecurity because with my police background and tech background, it felt sort of like an easy transition to, bring that focus of, just trying to take down the bad guys. And in a way, it was either software engineering or cyber, and cyber sounded cooler. So
I agree.
I did the boot camp, graduated that, was really fun. Then I just tried a different other stuff. After that, I went to Google Cybersecurity and then their IT, and then through WGU, got a lot of certifications, and I've been just kind of making different things here and there and trying to get by. And the job market is, as everybody knows, it's tough. And so since last fall, I've been working on a project, and hopefully that'll generate some money so I don't have to rely on a job. But that's kind of the express version of how I got here.
Yeah. Good little recap over there of the
Yeah.
X amount of years, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. So selling TVs and kind of being like the IT know-how kind of guy, right? And that kind of opened up some doors for you. So
if you ever spend any time in retail and electronics, you get to talk to a gambit of humans, and you learn how to talk to different people very quickly.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I agree. I think like I think everyone could benefit from doing a little bit of retail, a little bit of hospitality, kind of working in the service sector a little bit, kind of getting used
Yeah,
to
for
it all.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting though, is a definite trend I'm picking up on. So, being resourceful, kind of being the person that has a unique set of skills that is valuable to
Right.
the circumstances,
Yeah.
right?
Right. I'm not a master
Um,
of anything. I can just figure it out what I need to figure out to get by.
yep. And that's kind of leading us to right now, right? So what you're
Hmm.
doing, you're cooking up. You're big on the CTI space, right?
Yeah.
From what I
Yep.
understand, love threat
Yeah.
intel. Why? What is it about threat intel? Like, why does it stick out to you so much?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit from what I do kind of right now. It's not real intelligence, but being able to,
Hmm.
um, I read police reports. It's like the biggest part of my job is reading police reports, and you can start seeing trends. You can start seeing patterns. People who say certain things, certain vehicles, and stuff like that. It's easy to sit there and bring together analysis in your head, and you can't be effective without having information to act upon, right? You can sit there and have all these tools and all these alerts and all this other stuff, but you could be missing everything if you don't know exactly what you're looking for. And intelligence, if you have the right intelligence, you can who's maybe attacking you and in what ways. And so intelligence is a big part of how cybersecurity teams can be more effective.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. All those informed decisions kind of giving you some purpose and why. Otherwise, you're kind of just like shooting in the dark, right? Hoping that you land on
Yeah,
something and you know what to
exactly.
do, but you don't really know why you're doing it and what direction you should be going in.
Yep.
So cool. Yeah, I totally agree with you. CTI is definitely one of my favorite spaces as well, too, as a domain in
Yep.
security. So funny, interesting comment as well in chat over there from the hacking lab I threw up over there. Retail makes social engineering much later, I guess easier, much later if you end up doing some of that. So
Yeah, and you can definitely tell when certain people can be led a certain way when you're trying to sell a certain thing. And I don't want to call it manipulation, but some people can are just sheep and they follow whatever you do.
yeah,
And yeah, if you think ahead, you can get by with a lot of people.
kind of just how it goes, right? We get used to a lifestyle of, do I turn left, do I turn right? Okay,
Yeah.
stop here, go there, go this fast.
Yep.
But then yeah, it's definitely interesting. So
Yeah.
you're interested in the CTI space, you're doing a lot of work in it, and I know you're working on a project over there. CyberCola is I think the project name, right?
Yeah. CyberCola, like Coca-Cola, but CyberCola.
Sounds like a pretty good drink. I would like a nice drink of CyberCola every morning.
Right.
What is it? Tell me more about it.
Yeah, it's a digital newspaper that I curate well, not almost automatically working on that, but with a few button presses, I can pull 60 articles and through more process, ultimately run it through AI to summarize 60
Mhm.
cybersecurity articles and then put it into a nice visual of a newspaper like layout. And there's no pop-ups, there's no ads, and you just read the news.
It's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
how did that even start? Maybe share some of the challenges you went with that, because again, I know some background information over
Yeah.
here, but go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Uh,
what's the origins of this, and what did you go through?
so the origin of this project was, after graduating with WGU, it was time to go hit the job market, right? And
Yeah.
just like everybody else, and I was referred for one job with Booz Allen. I had all my certifications and a degree. I thought I was at least going to get maybe a chat with somebody. I applied, and 48 hours later, I got the auto. Sorry about your luck. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is all that work, all those certs, all those tests for nothing. And so um, I wanted to be able to automate some of this process of searching for jobs. And so I used AI to develop a script that allowed me to. Um, at first, I tried to scrape the website to pull in a job, and that wasn't working. Of course, I had zero experience of what I was doing. I was like, okay, I'm running into walls. I don't know what to do. So
Mhm.
let's change it up to make the script go and pop open a Chrome browser directly at their job page. So ultimately, I made a list of like 40 websites, and it's kind of monotonous when you hit the button. It just opens up 40 tabs of like every company I wanted to like work for and their job section. I mean, it was cool to be able to like check jobs directly on, the company's website and whatnot, but it was just too much. And so like, I forget how this whole news thing popped up, but I knew that it wasn't difficult, but it was kind of like, it was kind of annoying to like go to different news sites and read the article, get what you need when there's a lot of pop-up, there's a lot of ads. So I was like, wonder if I could just make my own RSS feed. And then it just turned into, well, what if these articles are summarized? Like, I don't want to read all of it. Some of it's fluff. Some people just write too much. And so if I can summarize this article and just get building from there. And I was continually using AI to do this and hit tons of walls, had to learn a ton of stuff. And ultimately we're here now where I can hit a few buttons and it makes the newspaper appear, really.
Yeah, interesting. So like you had a problem, right? Like trying to get a sense of job postings and the companies you're trying to look for. And the solution to that was to automate it and learn some AI tools to be able to do it, which then turned into, hey, wait a minute, like I can actually use this for something I'm also interested in, which sort of turned into CyberCola and summarized those articles for threat intelligence and what to action on.
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, if you didn't have the AI tools that you were messing around with, what would that look like? Yeah, like if you didn't have it.
Well, CyberCola would not exist.
Yeah,
absolutely not. There's no way.
Yeah,
absolutely not. I've gone through a lot of tutorials and courses on Python, but I guess I never spent enough time messing with it, and that's my fault. But I know enough to like, okay, that doesn't kind of look right. I know that's a variable. I know what's kind of going on enough to get by with AI to recognize, hey, they did that thing wrong there, that little thing's wrong there. But other than that, I've done other things outside of tech for entrepreneurial ventures. Like I did a car show here and there. I did a pop-up indie arcade somewhere else. And so I've experimented with a lot of different things. And ultimately it would be something like that. But with the help of AI being able to let me code and make something, it's very powerful.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, and this technically kind of falls into that vibe coding space, right?
Of course.
So how would you describe, like what was your experience of that? What is vibe coding to you? And I guess what's some of the good, what's some of the bad with it?
All right, full disclaimer, I was doing this before vibe coding existed.
It's true.
I guess it falls into the definition.
Yeah.
So yeah, when ChatGPT, the publicly has really been available for a couple of years now, and I was doing stupid things with it. We use SQL at work, so sometimes I try to get help with SQL, and then I was like, well, what if I could do Python with it? Well, what if I could do this with it? And it's more about scratching your own itch and being curious and being resilient to hitting walls, right? Like if you hit a wall, you don't know how to figure it out. Well, like then go back, like, okay, well, this happened. Tell me how to fix this, and then it's a long conversation. It could be a drag, but you know what? I forgot your question.
I guess just kind of describing what it is, and I think that's
it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just breaking through walls. It's like using AI to make the code, but also using AI to fix the code, and being able to recognize the right questions to ask.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, this was the result of this. I think you messed up over here. Were you supposed to do that? And if you get too long down a branch where one mistake happened and you don't catch it, and then you get 30 little text messages down the conversation, like, okay, well, now you're really far off. And we got to go all the way back up and do it again. And the more times you do that, the faster you can recognize when it's going off branch.
Yeah. So, and I think that's really interesting. It's good that you're saying that, and I hope the chat is really paying attention to it, that honestly, what you did, right? Like, you weren't working inside of an IDE or writing direct code yourself and firing it off, but you were programming. You were learning programming concepts and programming methodologies and concepts to be able to apply as if you were writing code, but you were just having the GPT write it for you, and then you started to figure out like some good best practices, and then you applied that and it really sped up your process. I think that's really cool, and I think it's interesting that we have this technology available. You're able to build out this product essentially by doing this, and you're learning programming without actually programming, and you're observing the same things that a programmer would see. It's like, oh, you know what, this would be better to kind of move up in the code here, and let's not go this much direction. Like you said, like you're kind of branching out functions and needs of the code itself. But again, you're not slinging Python yourself.
No. It's definitely not something I can do. Like if you tell me to go code something, like yeah, good luck. Um, but if you give me something to look at, I might be able to give you some, hey, look at there or look at there. That might not be right there. Um, and it was important also, just as another caveat, is like with my cyber background, I knew that things needed to be secure. Things needed
Yeah.
to be with security in mind. I know how important it is to have security, um, attached alongside, not attached at the end, but at the forefront. So, of course, I'm looking online for how to secure code, and then having the AI like, okay, well, how would a CISO look at this, or how would a security engineer look at this code? What would
Yeah.
they be looking for? And then you can actually go into a separate window. I'm like, all right, the AI said this about this code. What do you think about this code? And just you can like layer, like have a team of developers, but in browsers look
Yeah.
at each other. I learned through something else just yesterday, working on the workshop, that someone said if you ask AI from you, does this look okay? They're actually nicer to you than if you said this. Another AI wrote this. Can you look at this and check it? It'll be more strict on looking at the AI's code versus if it's your code.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost like a skill in and of itself, right? It
Yeah.
requires experience to learn how to do, and you realize kind of I guess shortcuts or techniques that you can use just like that. That's
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really heard people talking too much about that. I've heard about different ways to prompt it, and you can create urgency, be like this is due tomorrow, or like life is on the line. You could kind of be a little unethical, right? But it's interesting to know that that exists. Yeah, like another AI wrote it, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially led to CyberCola, and I think it's
Yeah.
also led to, I guess, the workshop itself, right? Like, so you are creating a workshop that you've learned, I guess, experience, insights, takeaways, and you're building a workshop to instill that into students around CTI and threat intel automation and some of this vibe coding, as it's called now, as well too, as I understand. So maybe talk more about that. What is this workshop coming to ContinuumCon? And high level overview. Kind of start from there.
Sure. So I thought of this workshop as kind of a cousin to CyberCola, where students
I
will
like
be they'll be scraping news, RSS feeds, and the students will then filter keywords, looking for particular specific things like ransomware APTs. If a headline has one of those, you'll grab that, and then ultimately it'll auto generate, because I provide you the scripts. The students will change just some things here and there. You don't have to do any real coding. You'll just change some values, like you'll have to uncomment an RSS feed to add it to the generation, so you can make the report more robust, because you'll have more feeds to go and scrape. And then you can add more keywords or take some keywords away. You can kind of customize your CTI report in that respect. So ultimately, you generate this HTML CTI report that you'll have high, medium, low alerts. You'll have a summary of the news article itself. That you can essentially, if you take, I should have started with this, but the scenario is you're the new intelligence analyst at some Shanky hospital, and you have to take this report to your CISO, to summarize the workshop in that way. But yeah, there's not any actual coding, but you'll just be manipulating certain things within the code that I give you. You will be you'll be inside VS Code, so you'll be in an IDE. So if you've never been inside of an IDE, it's a good exposure to that as well. Yeah.
Interesting. So I know that we definitely have quite a few students that are interested in CTI, and it's always an area that people are like, oh, this is, like you're learning about adversaries and tradecraft, and yes, this like classification level of vulnerabilities and management and mitigation. That's pretty cool. So you're effectively taking this workshop as a junior Intel or an associate. You just started your first day on the job, Intel analyst at this shady, janky hospital, right?
Yeah.
And then you start being production ready by the end of it. You start being able to collect and compile and disseminate threat intelligence by using the methods that you're teaching a student to do. And that's something that anyone can do, right? Like,
yeah. And again, most of this was all vibe coded, right? Like I It's a very simple thing. Like I use VS Code and GitHub Copilot, and you say, hey, I want to be able to do X, Y, Z, and at this point for this workshop, I want to be able to go scrape some RSS feeds and gather intelligence from those, and then you build it out from there. Because I mean, you have to, generate the code test. All right, that doesn't look right. We need to do this, that, and the other, and 12 hours later, you have an automated CTI report.
Yeah, pretty much. It's cool. Well, do you have anything you want to show on this workshop? You want to share your screen, kind of?
Sure. I mean, I can show the overview of the workshop, or I could show some of the VS Code. I don't know where you want to start.
Let's do a little bit of both. Let's do a little bit of the overview. We'll start there, and then kind of do a little snapshot of what's inside the VS Code window as well, too. Just kind of a high level. I know it's still in production. The workshop's coming out next weekend, so
yeah,
for sure. Let's add that to the scene. Nice. What I'm going to do is actually, I think I can hide my camera. Yeah, perfect. You should still be able to hear me. But Jordan, yeah, go ahead. Maybe let me clean out that other caption as well.
Okay.
So here's the overview, right? Like this is the workshop. This is what students can expect to see. Maybe go through the overview a little bit over there.
Yeah. So we have, 5 little modules. It's not a very beefy thing here anyway. So I'll just open them all up so I can better explain them.
Sure.
So we start off here with the onboarding, explains the situation, your mission, why it matters, some of the profile of the hospital, they've been attacked previously, just trying to just fill out a good scenario, right? And some of the critical infrastructure that they have, and then the deliverables you're going to have. And it kind of helps you understand what you're going to be doing as an overview. And then, it's pretty straightforward. And then we go into the foundations of threat intel. I'll just show you the top level here of this. And this one's a pretty beefy lecture where you learn a lot about threat intelligence as a whole. And then we get into the labs. This is definitely this is like the last bit I need to finalize. But you'll come here, you'll connect to the VM, and then you'll open up to the VM to VS Code, and you'll see the labs from there. And then we do a post-lab review, and we'll go through what actually did you just do? What did you actually build? How was it done? And you'll go through that whole thing, and each section has a quiz, because why not? Because I'm evil, I guess.
Nice.
After I went through WG with all these certifications, I was like, you know what? Let's just give everybody questions, share some of the pain I had to go through. Anyway, so yeah, and then the last one's asset focused intelligence. This is kind of like a next steps of like, okay, sure, you have some, some broad intelligence from the automated report you just made. So what can you do after that? And it's more about, taking an inventory of, okay, so I have this intelligence, what can be affected and what do I have to look for? And that's what this last one does. Do you want me to go into VS Code?
Yeah, let's take a look at that. If anyone has any questions too, go ahead. I mean, if you're interested in I know we have some CTI students in the chat. I see their names. I know the ones that are interested. But yeah, I mean, if anyone has any questions, go ahead and shoot them over while we're going. We can always take a pause, and we're going to get to Q&A a little bit later as well too. But pretty cool that we got to see some of that intro. So you're starting as a junior, not a junior SOC analyst, but a junior CTI analyst, and you're effectively going through the process of the CTI lifecycle over there, but from an automation perspective. And I guess this is the code that they're going to be working off. Jordan, go ahead.
Yeah, so you will. This is VS Code. If you've never seen this before, it's an IDE, integrated development environment. This is what a lot of coders use. There's different kinds of ones out there. This is from Microsoft, I believe. And you won't have all of this stuff here. You'll likely have just the labs and these and a couple others. But yeah, you'll open up this when you start the VM. You'll start up VS Code, and then you'll be you'll look at this, and then you have some stuff to read. There'll be some instructions. I got to flesh out some more of these, but essentially, you'll start going through these labs. You can scroll down through them, and you just have to pay attention to some of the text. It'll tell you what you need to do or what you can do. I mean, technically, you can run this now and get results, but if you want a more beefier result, you'll have to uncomment some of these, and what that means is these pound signs or hashtags, whatever you want to call them, in Python, when you have that in front of the line, it means Python's not going to run this information. It'll skip all of this. Oh, I just messed it up. Yeah, it'll skip all of that. So if you uncomment all of this, and then you'll have a lot more sources to draw from a new standpoint. And you come down here, you can, I'm kind of going fast here because that's what I do. I'm just used to going through.
Ripping through it, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you can just read through all of these. There's not really anything for you to do here, but I'm going to add some more, just fluff so you understand what's actually going on. Essentially, this is a loop. Python's going to say, hey, I'm going to look at all of these feeds over here and determine if they fit the bill for the report. Then it checks and it finds those reports and it comes down here. Okay, well, does it fit our criteria? Is it within the time date range that we're looking for? Stuff like that.
Interesting. So students are actually going to be digging into the code itself that you're providing, and they have comments to explain what's going on in the functions, and also objectives, right? It sounds like. So you're going to give them steps what to do and kind of modify.
Yes. Awesome. Yes. And so here is the to-do. Yeah, I'll make this a lot more easier to find, but you'll put your name there, and then once the report is generated, your name's going to be on the report. And so there's just a few things that you can sit there and toy with and experiment with. And again, you're not going to, this is not like coding. You don't have to worry about all this stuff and like, oh my God, what am I going to do? All you're going to do is just change it to, that's it. And that's all you're doing, changing it to your name, and it'll print out your name. And then, of course, there's the other labs that do similar things. You'll go through those, walk through the instructions. You can read up on what's happening as you scroll down, and you kind of understand what's kind of going on. And as someone who's gone through a lot of Python courses, sometimes I think it's a bit better to jump into something like this and just look at it and try to make sense of it versus like, okay, do one little thing and print hello world, which it works for some people, but you're looking at something like this might scare some, but it actually might do some good if you are patient and resilient to your own ignorance.
That's interesting. So is it safe to say that, and we have a good question over there in chat as well too, is it safe to say that someone could immediately kind of work this code? Like, could they add on more if they want it? Like, could they go?
If you want to, if you know what you're doing. Of course, this is live thing here. You can sit there and change whatever you want, and then whatever you can play around. There's nothing here. Of course, I made it so that there's no sign in. There's no credentials. There's no keys. There's no anything. This is all static, right? So you're not going to hurt anything inside of the VM or whatever.
Yeah, very cool. So question, I guess, over there from Cryson over there in chat. I think that's kind of where I was going as well too. Does a student need a license or access or an account with Copilot or none of that? So yeah.
Well, with Copilot likely will not be available. Let me back up to say that this is my own VS Code. This is not inside the actual VM of the thing. So you can enable it, but you'll have to sign in, I believe. Actually, I might be wrong about that. You might be able to use Copilot. I was messing with it the other day, and it actually let me play with it. I think there's like a free version of it. You may or may not get agent mode. There's a difference between agent mode and ask mode. I don't know if you want to do a quick rundown. I thought about doing a quick thing with Copilot and showing folks what you can actually do with this. I'm not sure what kind of time we have, but there's certain modes here with Copilot where there's ask, agent, and edit. Ask is you're just asking questions like the same way you would talk to ChatGPT, right? And there's agent mode, means I want you to do this for me. Like literally do it for me. Like, I don't know, what could I do? Build a calculator app. And it'll take a second. And it's using Gemini 2.5 Pro. Give your current quickly create a Python-based command line calculator. Yes, please do that. And then you can just sit back, sip some coffee, and it'll do your thing for you. Now, it might add some stuff here, but what's cool is that anything it changes, I can revert.
That's nice.
So it's already it's already created the Python thing, and this is essentially how you begin quote unquote vibe coding, right?
Mhm.
It's already this. Is it done? Yeah, it's done. Literally done. The entire thing, in what, 3 seconds? So this is the kind of things that you can accomplish, and you can ask for, I don't know, additions. I don't even know what we would add to this, but essentially you can just keep asking your questions, making it better and making it do things.
Yeah, very cool. So it's kind of a bit of a demonstration that if students do want to kind of go off the rails a little bit, they can take your code, and if they have Copilot or if they have their own AI tools, they could take it further and add some more functionality to what you're providing them.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome.
I just reverted with that right there.
Yeah, really nice.
Then we will remove all edits because I exit out of the thing I just said, and we're back to where we were.
So
to delete that file.
Cool little demo. That's not going to be in the workshop itself, right? But good little demonstration of kind of what that works like, because I think we do have some students here that have never seen that before, and even when people watch the recording and they go through the workshop itself. Awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
And anything you want to share with like the labs 2, 3, and 4 kind of thing? If you'd like, you don't have to, but anything more technical you want to talk about? Yeah.
If you want. I mean, so this is lab 2 is filtering, keyword filtering. And what you'll do is you'll filter for keywords. So in the first one, we looked for all news that kind of fit the bill of, well, actually, it was just all news, right? Within a date range. If it happened this month, I want it from specific sources. And now that we have those sources and those, and those articles, we can sit there and further filter for things we're looking for. So we have different labels for rather healthcare sector, or see, this is a keyword dictionary. So you can kind of see how it's built. We have different category, or rather healthcare sector specific to healthcare, certain things like this, and you'll go in here and you can add things that you want to add. So, and I'll have a little tutorial on this, but to add something to this list, you'll hit a comma, you'll hit quotes, and you can type in whatever you want. Of course, with Copilot actually says, "Hey, what do you mean this?" And then you can hit tab, like, all right, that's cool. And then
look at that. Yeah,
it can get kind of wonky here and there, but that's how I added like 4 or 5 more RSS feeds, because it was like, how about this one? How about that one? How about this one? And 4 of them did not work, but
of course, yeah.
I had to do some testing there. But yeah, see, you can add it from Copilot. Copilot can make you really lazy, or you can just add your own and keyword here. And then you'll hit a comma if you want to add another one. And that's essentially all you're doing, is you can add keywords to look for, and it'll add those to what it's searching for when it's going through the feeds and the articles. So as long as it has these things, it'll label them. And then down here, you'll notice we'll have the same list from the first one. It'll go through the same list as well. And we'll move on to 3. After you hit this one, you'll have those keywords done. The third one, of course, you'll read all the instructions, and ultimately, this is both labeling what you found from lab 2 as high, medium, or low, and it's also going to generate what's called JSON here. It'll show you all of your articles. You don't have to worry about that right now. But once you run this, and you run it by hitting the play button here, and that'll be in the tutorial in the workshop. You'll have the same feeds. And where is it? Yeah. So here's the keywords that we'll use for lab 3, where it shows, okay, these are what we meet. These are what we want to filter on for what we want to label as high on the report, medium on the report, and then low on the report. And so it'll go and analyze. It'll categorize each one based off if there's a certain keyword in a headline. So you're scraping news headlines, and in those headlines, if any of these keywords are in there, it's going to pick them up and place them accordingly in those categories.
Very cool.
Again, you don't need to know all this code. I'll have more comments here for you to just peruse and look at how it works. And by the end of this, if I hit this right now, it'll generate this articles.json file just to show you these articles, and then these are loaded into the HTML file, and you'll run this in your browser and it'll show you the document that you'll create, and then you're done.
Awesome. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Put my camera back on over there we go. Nice. Yeah, that's really interesting, Jordan.
Yeah.
That's a lot more in depth than I think even like the way you were describing it, the fact that you're giving so much of the code, right? Like students have a ton to work with over here. If they've never worked with Python before, creating their own HTML reports, scraping intelligence, you weren't kidding. This is literally, like a junior CTI analyst, a day in the field, and they got a new task and they're trying to automate their work. So, very impressive. I think this is an awesome workshop. It's kind of like you've got your own mini threat intelligence gathering platform.
It's essentially what it is, right?
Yeah.
You just hit a button, you go to these feeds, and it just farms out that stuff and then gives you a report. You don't have to go and individually just go out and tease different information. You don't have to label it yourself. It does it all for you.
Awesome. Very cool. Very valuable workshop. Thank you very much for going through that.
You're welcome.
Cool. Let's kind of move over to the Q&A side of things. There is a question over here in chat. I wish I had a workshop like that when I was first kind of learning CTI, and it's wild that you can have a workshop like this, right? Like you've used tools to generate and build this, and you had a lot of blood, sweat, and tears kind of learning all this stuff, and now you're able to deliver this as value for students to work with, which is just crazy. So Crescen's got another question over here. Is there a way we could categorize by accuracy of the threat intel? So I guess this would be like an addition, right? Like this is, I guess, functionality like that they're thinking about. Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure you can add accuracy to this. This is a very bare bones. I mean, it's a lot of code there, but it is essentially bare bones. You'll see when you generate the report, it's quite bare bones in the fact that you're just going to like an RSS feed. If you don't know, it's a feed that has information pertaining to news articles. If you ever go to an RSS feed online, it's like a black screen with a lot of JSON code, and you just pull that and organize that information. You'd have to take it a step further if you want to add accuracy. If you want to add bells and whistles, you can do that. But this is more of like a foundational, day one thing, and you can add it. You can add more to make it more accurate.
Awesome. Hope that answers the question over there, Cryson. I think that's pretty nice. And yeah, we are coming up. It's almost 45 minutes now already. So that was definitely going by pretty quick. We are going to be wrapping up here shortly, and then I'll ask Jordan some things myself. But if anyone has any questions, please go ahead, drop them in the chat right now. We'll bring them up and give Jordan some time to answer them, talk a little bit more about himself, about the workshop, about this level of coding that he's developed over there and experience. So please go ahead, drop some questions if you have them now. It'd be great to see if Jordan can provide some insight for you. But my question to you then, Jordan, would be, so say a student takes this workshop, completes it. What would you want them to kind of walk away with? Like what are some of the takeaways? Because it's a lot of coding. It's a lot of things that they're going to do, but what would you hope that they walk away with? And maybe what would you hope for them to consider afterwards as well too?
Well, I'd like to have them walk away with confidence in the fact that this isn't magic. This isn't, years ago I was just an idea guy, right? Now I'm building an app, which years ago there was no way that ever would happen. Yeah. And you have to understand that before you were pretty limited. If you don't know how to code, you couldn't do anything about it. But now you saw with GitHub Copilot there, in agent mode, like I want to build a calculator, boom. There's a calculator, and you can do that with other things. I mean, it takes time, of course, cliche, but with every skill, even prompting something else to do your work for you, you have to stay with it. You have to be on top of it. You have to understand that you're going to hit walls, and you're going to get frustrated. And there's been times with doing CyberCola where I spent 5-6 hours on one problem, on one issue, on one bug. Like, no, this isn't working. No, this isn't working. Did you try this? Did you try this? Did you try this? I mean, 100 times over. And I I look like a deer in headlights at like 8 o'clock at night, and my wife is like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. Don't want to talk about it. And so that you have to develop a confidence to know that it's possible, but maybe some reality of understanding that you're going to hit walls and be okay with that, and know that the end result is more important than your frustration.
It's funny because you sharing that story, I mean, that's a story that a software engineer would have, you know, like that they're banging their head against the code as well too.
Yep.
It with different tools, you know, and different approaches as well. So it's pretty awesome to hear that you're getting similar and better and different types of experience just by doing what you're doing. And yes, you've built an app. It's in
Right.
development. You're working on it. You've now built a workshop that students can walk away with. So confidence, I agree. I hope that students would be able to walk away with that as well too, that they're going to see the code under the hood. They're going to then learn how to modify different variables and different pieces of requirements in the code to do more advanced functionality. And you know what? Yeah, Christen, go ahead. Add more to it. For all the students listening, go ahead, right? Like take Jordan's workshop and then make more things out of it. That'd be awesome. And kind of share what you're cooking up. I'd like to see that.
Yeah. And even outside the workshop, you can download VS Code for your own system. You can download Python for your own system. And, you know, after the workshop, you can do it there too. Just always remember to understand that there's secure things that you need to be doing. If you want to incorporate an API, like, I mean, now with Copilot, it's kind of built in, but before you'd have to like bring in AI yourself and then, you know, have your credentials in a code. If you're going to publish something with code, then you need to have other things happening. I mean, I would definitely understand what you're doing from a foundational level, from vibe coding in secure ways for sure.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Got a question over here from Karina as well. Jordan, is your CyberCola threat intel feed available online? Can we order CyberCola today? I guess that's the question. Can we?
Yeah, we're brewing it up every day. If you go to cyber-cola.com, it is there. I am currently doing some back-end things right now, so I haven't updated it.
Yeah.
I haven't updated in a few days because I'm trying to make it more automated, so that I don't have to do too many things. And I'm also trying to advance this. Future plans are to, let's say, build an actual analysis product. Right now, it's only news, right? I'm trying to build out maybe a database in the back end and have AI be able to bring forth analysis for you from this news. But I'm kind of laying the foundation for that roadmap right now. And so that's why I'm changing everything on the back end a little bit. And so I haven't pushed the button to make a new issue in a few days. So I apologize for those of you who are reading it already. That this news is quite stale. I need a new batch. I know.
Nice. Well, it looks like Jordan's been getting his dose of CyberCola over here. Different Jordan as well. I think between you and Lyndon, and we got a lot of Jordans around this spaces these days. It's pretty cool. So Christen's got another question over there. Would you release this project on GitHub publicly after ContinuumCon? So sure. I'll jump in, I guess, for that one. I mean, I think so. The workshop content itself is behind the ContinuumCon ticket. You do need to pay for that to get access to everything that Jordan's providing you, the steps, the questions, the quizzes, and all that. But I would say, I mean, if you want to fork it and kind of make your own and share it around on GitHub afterwards, I think that's fine.
Sure, but I can try that.
Yeah, I mean, well, not for you, I guess, per se, Jordan, but for Christen, right? Like if someone has access and they've learned and they want to kind of make their own thing, I think that's fine. But yeah, the workshop will stay behind the ticket itself, though, Christen, at least at this point in time. Cool. Okay. Any other questions from chat over here? Give yourselves another minute. Otherwise, Jordan, very impressed with what you're cooking up over there. Looking forward to this workshop. I think students are going to learn a ton. They're going to come to learn CTI. They're going to leave with confidence, which is a component. That is an attribute to CTI in and of itself, right? Confidence levels and ratings. So some hidden messages in there to learn.
All kinds of hidden stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, I don't see any other questions popping up over there. So once again, We're coming up in time over here. So Jordan, thank you for putting all this work into the workshop, for coming on stream today, talking about what you're doing and showcasing it. I think that's really cool. There's a huge takeaway for students over here. So thank you for being willing to do this.
Having me.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
And chat, thanks for hanging out as well too on Friday with us for the questions as well too. And for everyone listening and watching and in the recorded stream, I guess afterwards as well too, you can catch Jordan's workshop over here at ContinuumCon. And I believe it's going to be called Where's the Brief? Right? Where's the Brief? Simple threat intel automation. So almost like beef, but where's the brief? So I see what you did there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you again, Jordan, for putting all this and for chat hanging out. You can catch Jordan's workshop at ContinuumCon June 20th, 22nd over here, coming up next weekend. If you don't have your ticket, go ahead and grab that right now. Otherwise, we'll catch you in Discord, and we'll see you in a week from now. Have yourselves a good weekend, everyone.